Can he do it? Can he turn around from defeat and take down the Australian master here? What are you thinking, Delotrus?
Pretty much. I mean, as you said, we have two titans here. We had them already playing in the World Championship in 2023. I've played actually against both of them in the World Championship 23.
Yeah, true.
I had Consus in my group. I had to play Zigzag on the knockoff. So I definitely know how it is to play against them. Now they play against each other. And look at these stats. Very strong from both sides. I mean, the 60% on Zigzag looks kind of small compared to Consus. But 60% win rate is a very strong win rate. Consus is just a different breed.
But it goes into what we saw in the previous game as well. 12 seconds difference in average guess time. That is massive. We have seen Zi8gzag over the course of the World League really starting to guess faster. And I was just going to say he's probably going to insta-send some rounds here too. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So Consus, I mean, I feel like Clement a couple of times tried to put pressure on Consus. This game, I feel like Zi8gzag is going to be doing that literally the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good clue for Hungary was the tall sign. Call it tall sign.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit, yeah, as I already said it, a bit taller than in other European countries, and Hungary is kind of hard to read, I guess. Therefore, a good way to pick up some points from Consus, where you take that precision away from him. So we move over to this round. Very interesting. What do we have here?
A rare foggy round. I feel like usually the coverage is not obscured by the weather, but this one is.
Yep, Google usually does take that into consideration when taking the footages, the weather. But if it just looks like that for a whole month, then you just go for it.
Not too much you can do about it. Zi8gzag will get the better guess in Colombia. Damage done to Consus. Able to even things out as both of them go out of the potential flawless game 1. And they're now into round 3.
Let's see, double white should put us into Chile here, combined with the landscape. We have Zi8gzag having a pin down already. Usually on moving games, if you see a player putting a guess down, it means they don't want to move any further. And that actually happened with Zi8gzag here.
Yeah.
It's not moving anymore. Just putting down that vibe, because they're actually pretty far from each other.
Yeah.
Especially for Chile standards, but it's just in between them, a little bit closer to Consus though, which will allow him to put down 624 health from Zi8gzag.
And again, the faster you play, I feel like the less you care for the small point gains. You're waiting for the big mistakes from your opponent. Which, again, with an opponent like Consus, Zi8gzag ain't gonna get those easily. But we did see in the previous game that they do happen every now and again. So, now though, not as fast as we've seen in the previous rounds. 15 seconds already gone off the clock. Now, Zi8gzag in with the guess.
Yeah, but again, Consus takes that extra time to get better signs. Zi8gzag only had a town entry signs. However, Consus also has a road number now. He's scanning for the 66 right now. It's a pretty hilly landscape for where he's scanning, but it was
right on the border.
The hills north of Budapest.
Yep. Right country for him. On the border there. Zi8gzag shaking his head, shaking it off, getting ready for this one. Into the next round. Every round could be the winning one. This round 5 is upon us.
Yeah, I think that's really Zi8gzag's strategy, to get into those high multis and pull it off there somehow. That's a mistake I did when I was playing against Consus. I actually tried playing moving.
Giving him too much time.
Though if it's not my mode, I try to actually move. Yeah. I shouldn't have done that. Therefore, I like Zi8gzag's strategy here.
Something we see a lot of time, where the faster you get the guess in, the more you kind of force the moving game to become a pseudo no-move game, because there simply just isn't time to go around and get info. You gotta get that map open, you gotta get ready. And, well, right now, Consus is doing a good job of staying ahead, but as we're saying, really ain't about the small gains here. It's about that big swing that comes when the multipliers are stacked up.
Yes, indeed. And we have a Sweden round here with short dashed lines. GeoGuessr again putting that pressure on, and Consus again getting very good signs. We have Karlstad here, a very big town. He's on it. However, it's 233 kilometers away, so he should guess way further from it than he is. He does do that little adjustment, ending up very, very close.
There you
that
go.
will be enough to make the game. GeoGuessr did try to guess a little bit north, where you get this winter coverage a lot.
And that's a danger.
It also happens in the south. That is a danger, but
That's
it's
the
also
danger of
GeoGuessr's
those
strategy.
Yeah.
He knows that's not only against Consus, that's really a strategy I've seen from GeoGuessr a lot, where he just tries to get the moving game over and jump into the moving games he's more confident with, which is no move and definitely an MPZ.
For sure. It's the danger of getting those quick guesses in, where just one click down the road can be the info that you wish you have had when you put your guess in early. But not quite to be this time around. Consus takes game number 1. But remember, so did he against Clement just moments ago. And still, Clement came out and won 2-1. So GeoGuessr can still definitely turn this one around as we get this next game underway. Were there any rounds in particular outside of this last Sweden round? Were there any rounds in particular that stood out to you in this game?
Not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't say. I mean, most of the time it was really straightforward. We didn't have those rural rounds. I mean, we had, but there was still some signs around it that Consus did get to. So, yeah, not much to say about that game. I would say it was a very standard game.
Straightforward.
Yeah. Where we had...
Are there any? I'm trying to think, because obviously, in terms of, let's call it modern day, or present day GeoGuessr, I feel like MK was kind of the player at the World Cup last year that really showcased the fast play style strategy. Is there any in between? Like, I feel like it's either you're a fast player or you're a slow player. It's hard to do in between, unless if you kind of jump back and forth between the two as we get this no move game started.
Yeah, I would say a lot of people maybe always decide which playstyle to use depending on the round.
Yeah, and who they're up against.
It's also when you're like a little bit more inconsistent and have some countries where you're very good at and some countries where you're really bad at. That will always get you to a situation where you have to judge how to play based on in which country we are.
Yeah.
And now we are in Turkey, and this is a
5K
country where I'm definitely stand fast rather than move around. I don't want to give my enemy any time to make a guess. I think that's around Balak is. I like GeoGuessr's guess. I like Consus' guess also. I feel like it's somewhere in between.
Yeah.
See.
Close to one another.
Not at all.
Further towards the southeast. Still, though, within the reins. As 283 damage will be what starts us off in this game of no moves. GeoGuessr off to the best start here. Getting into round number 2 now.
I'm not sure if we had the card visible there or not, because that's also a clue you use to make a region guess in Turkey. Because the region where it actually was should have antenna. So I don't know if they just saw it wrong, and me as well, or if it was just glitched. Does happen though. Now it is very clear that we have a red car. This clear red tint won't fool us. It is Ukraine. You can also see it a little bit in Belgium. The red car. You can see it a little bit in Victoria, around Victoria in Australia. But if you take a look around, it should be crystal clear that we are in Ukraine out of those 3 countries. Making a region guess here might be a little bit hard. It's a little bit more
quite a bit of distance in between him.
Yeah,
Consus continuously goes east side of Kiev or further away. GeoGuessr is all the way over towards Lviv. We'll see who's going to come up victorious here as Consus. A rare first guess for him. It's actually all the way east side, all the way over towards the Russian border.
Yeah, I mean, it looked a little bit more hilly, which is the reason why I like GeoGuessr's guess. However, there's a lot of niche meta in Ukraine. We had a little bit of a tilted antenna there as well. Could be a clue for the northeast, maybe. Maybe that's what put him more towards that side. I don't know.
Wow. Consus averaging almost 4,800 in this country. That is completely insane. Of course, it doesn't have to be within that many guesses, but still very, very impressive track record for Consus.
Even if it's one guess on no move in the Philippines, that's a very strong score. Indeed. Because this country, as you can already tell, I'm silent. I'm not shouting any island. I'm not shouting any city. Because it's very hard to region guess. The more palms you get, the more it's putting you towards the eastern side, southeastern side of the country. But it's a very, very,
not a whole lot of info to go by here.
To use.
Yeah, exactly. Can't quite see out there in the distance. Consus jumping around island to island. Should have stayed down on the south side, though, because there would have been a lot more points come his way. Unfortunately, not quite the case. So only 80 damage will be done in a rare round between these two that took it all the way down to the 0 marker.
Yeah, it's really hard to commit for a guess, because I feel like if Consus was playing on his own, just chilling at home, playing some games, he would have probably sent down there. But in a duels format, you always have to consider the risk factor on your guesses. As we move over to Italy round, we have those short plates in the front. Very Mediterranean looking as well. It doesn't look too far northern. I mean, it's very mountainous, but this should not be the Alps at all. Especially with the architecture, looks a bit more inland.
Just south of Florence in this one. We'll see if Consus opts to follow suit or stick further south, which is where he is right now. Not too much distance in between him, but still some. He could have gone even further, though, because, once again, both off by a bit. But with the multiplier stacking, that's starting to hurt a lot more now. 1,000 damage done to Zigzag, putting him over just half health left remaining. Consus still, I mean, barely even touched in this game so far.
Yes, but this will give him some potential to lose health, because it is India. We don't have a lot to work with here. Very, very red soil is kind of interesting to me. Might put down a couple regions that are possible with the landscape, because it does look kind of distinct. But you will just catch me guessing middle here. I am keeping it honest. We have the box. Is it a box car? I'm not sure. Which puts you more towards the west in India, but yeah.
I feel like this seed, I mean, these 5 rounds in particular have been incredibly difficult, seemingly for both of them. And we know Zi8gzag likes to guess fast, but these rounds alone is going to increase his average guessing time by quite a margin. There really isn't a whole lot of info to go by. Both of them now looking towards central India, whether it be a hedge to kind of avoid damage, or whether it be a commitment to set region. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, both of them off by a bit. And Consus closer once again.
I don't know if it is in Goa or just outside. Because usually Goa is very recognizable.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it looked nowhere like Goa, even though it was in there or around there.
They both just saw the Alto sign and instantly looked down at the front of the car. What were they looking for there?
The car color. Because Alto means we are in Mexico. And Mexico has a lot, especially in Gen 4, which is this camera quality. In Mexico, you see a lot of different cars. They have a striped Google car, they have a black Google car, they have a just blue Google car. So, based on that, these players can remember in which parts which car did do the coverage.
Did the coverage, yeah.
So you can rule out a couple states with that, or regions within states, based on which color car we have.
Makes sense, as we now see the guesses come through once again, but equally once more. Off by quite the margin.
What are these rounds?
They're crazy.
I cannot blame them at all. Not at all. Not
Were you down there as well?
I was in central Mexico, definitely.
Yeah? Wow.
Not north by any means.
Wow. Okay, Consus now. I mean, let's see if we can live up to the 4848. As these rounds have proven to be quite tricky thus far. This to me just screams Middle Earth. Are we in New Zealand? Yep, we are. Okay. I didn't even know. I was just looking at the nature. I was like, yeah, I could see Aragon run over that hill. That makes good sense to me.
Yep. Especially based on the vegetation. Like New Zealand is very distinct. A lot of unique palms and plants in general.
Well,
let's see, we have a very far south guess from Consus. Where did Zi8gzag end up? I didn't catch it. He's in the north. He is in the north, and it was indeed south. And Consus did hover over that island east of Christchurch, but it is over nonetheless. He will get the win. Consus will definitely, again, pick up the win, but a round he will look back to. A couple rounds they will both look back to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because we had a lot of blunders, but I don't even know if you can call that a blunder. Just very